Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to European Truck Simulator, and welcome back to Trinity in the UK. You recognize this spot. This is where we started our very first episode 100 episodes ago. Might not seem like a very big deal to you, but it's kind of a big deal, and I thought we'd do something special for our 100th episode. So one thing I got was a new truck, and this is the XBS is the mod maker, and this is the 2010 MAN TGX, and I set it up ridiculous with 8x4 and the cargo box on the back and the crane and everything else. Sorry, it's got the little feet on the front, it's got the feet on the back. So yeah, super happy about that. And we're in Trinity, and I just looked a minute ago, and there was a job, obviously with the cargo box on the back, we can only take dolly trailers, and I saw, hope it's still there. Trinity right there. Yep, we do have a dolly trailer job, so we just got to see how far it is. 0 kilometers. I have a feeling it's right in front of us. Yep. I have a feeling it's right there. So I'm going to, first thing, get us started up. This truck, I'll tell you what, it is all bass. If you don't have some good headphones or a subwoofer or something, you're not hearing anything right now. Alright. So let's get some repairs done. And we will be going back to Palermo in the DAF probably straight away, next episode. We got everything we need? I think we do. Yeah, we're good. We'll be going back to Palermo in the next episode and continuing our... Yep, everything's working. Continuing our journey from there. Although, I don't know whether we're going to use this truck or something else, because I kind of like this truck. And we have been in the DAF for a minute. So we'll see. See how it all works out. Right. Go to the freight market. We're going to take this job. We don't need to do anything. It doesn't pay very well. Oh, but we're going to France. Now... Let's ask this. No, because that's right across the way. The other one went to Cardiff. Oh, see, I was thinking of going to Cardiff. So if we go... No, I gotta get... Moment, please. We need to do this. We don't want to go... We want to go up into the UK, man. We want to recreate our first trip. We want to capture the magic. So, I don't think either one of those. Dover. No. No. So there's Trinity. And that's really all there is over here we could go from. Now. Cardiff. Maybe. Maybe. Swansea. Ah. Swansea's right next to Cardiff. 10 hours to get there? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Right, so this changes things. Oi! That can't be right. Is it? No. Because we'd have to go, yeah, we'd have to go to Cherbourg. And it's good for 10 hours? How long is it going to take us to drive 500 kilometers? 7 hours. Ooh. Alright, well, I guess this is going to be a two-part episode. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to deadhead to pick up the trailer. And then part 2 of the episode, I guess, will actually deliver it. But you know what? It's always still just driving a truck. So let's get turned around here. There we go. Right. I've been playing with my volume and audio levels quite a bit, just trying to get everything balanced. And I think what I've finally realized I need to do, and I sort of knew this already, but what I need to do is get the settings in, like in this case in Shadow Play, get them dialed, and then just leave them. If I try to adjust them every time I'm recording, what will happen is then every setting that I think I have for any given sim, right? You see what I mean? Like if we're in Euro Truck Sim right now. Let's say I put the volume in Euro Truck Sim on 80, right? And then adjust the microphone volume in Shadow Play so that everything's perfect. Well, then when we get to the next sim, that may or may not be perfect. So then we would need to have that other sim, the in-game volume set to 80, and then we would mess with Shadow Play again, and so on and so on. Or we could just put Shadow Play somewhere, maybe put Shadow Play at 80, and then every time we get on a sim, we adjust the in-game volume. So that ideally, right, you see what I'm getting at? Eventually, every sim would be at the right volume, and Shadow Play would be at the right volume, and then we just call it good, because if not, man, gonna end up chasing the dragon. I also found, so you know I used the console to get here, the developer console, and I found a fascinating setting in there called Warp, I believe. And I guess I knew this, but now I really know it. The game, Euro Truck and American Truck as well, aren't 100% accurate with how things move. And I know there's time compression. I always knew that. But the way that things move past the camera, past the point of view, is distorted just a little bit. And I guess what they did was maybe traded away some realism for the quality of the gameplay. But what that works out to mean is that the world is flying by at a speed, like a visual speed, different than how it would look in real life. But there is a setting in the developer console to adjust that, and I've tried to make it a little bit more realistic, so we'll see when we get out on the highway in France. We'll see what we think of it. And I made a very tiny little adjustment, so we'll see. And I guess once we get rolling, I'll maybe talk a little bit about what we're doing differently now, as far as changes we've made since episode 1. Right. Cherbourg, you got it. Well, this certainly wasn't the direction that I planned to take today. But you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Still just driving a truck. Alright, got some air pressure coming up. Gears are good. Lift axle is up. Lift axle is up. Alright, here we go. So the first episode on the first day, no longer in the UK. First episode on the first day We were recording in OBS, but I was recording at 1080p, 30 FPS. And I was, at the time, I was happy with that. I mean, I saw no reason to be anything but happy with it. It worked for me. But in time, I've found I wasn't editing at all. I was just taking videos straight out of OBS and just sending it straight up to YouTube. But I started editing, not really to edit. I mean, I'm not doing anything to the files. I just wanted them to be smaller because the files were so big. And then when we got into shadow play, which itself is kind of a funny story, because what happened is OBS wasn't working for cattle and crops. Initially it was, and then it kind of stopped. And I needed to find something because I was having like a 15 to 25% frame loss. I was losing a quarter of my frames, and it's just horrible quality. So that's how I found Shadowplay. And the funny thing is, I couldn't get Shadowplay to work with Cattle and Crops. It's not a supported game. But then I started having so many problems with the Cattle and Crops AI, and then I was kind of fussing with a moderator on one of their forums, and he got, I felt, a little inappropriate. So I talked to the developers and said, let me get a refund. And they said, it's been too long, can't get a refund. And I said, all right, well then just delete my account. Delete my Steam key. I'm never going to play your game. It's taken too long. I'm disappointed with it. The end. So the thing that made me move from OBS to Shadowplay ended up being the thing that I couldn't use Shadowplay for anyway. But then right after that, it ended up being the thing that I didn't need Shadowplay for, because I'm never going to play it again. So that all worked out. The problem is then that Shadowplay makes files that are even bigger than OBS, like 20 and 30 gig, which is quite a big file to work with. But I found a workaround, and that is that if I edited, and initially I was editing in an app called Shotcut, but if I put a 1080p 30 FPS file in there and just told it to render it, I could put a 20 gig file in there, and what I got out was a 4 or 5 gig at what looked to me to be the same quality. So definitely made my life easier as far as file size. And then eventually I found another app called DaVinci Resolve, which I'm even more pleased with than Shotcut. But it is nice to not have to deal with 20 and 30 gig files. That's a pretty big file. Pretty big file to do stuff with, and they add up quick. I mean, I've got 2 terabyte hard drives, but files that size can add up pretty quickly. So that's what's going on there. I still don't have a microphone. I mean, obviously I have a microphone. I have the boom microphone in my headset, my gaming headset. But I don't have a proper microphone, and I'd like to get one. I feel like the audio quality of my voice could use some work. So that's on the list. What else is new? We went from 30 FPS to 60 FPS. Super happy about that. And it's one of those things, at least for me, like you can't really, I don't want to say you can't tell the difference. I know a lot of people can, and I guess up to 30 FPS is kind of where it, anything under 30 is, you can really tell that's problematic. But then from 30 to 60, from 30 to 60, I always thought that was like, that's fine. You know, as long as you can get 30, that's fine. And it's fine, but it's not great. So I started recording in 60 FPS, and immediately I could see a difference. So I'll never go back. 60 FPS from here on out. I would like to be bumping up to 4K soon, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully soon. And what else? Yeah, just living and learning, you know. if we're in a ProMods area right now or if this is the Vive la France DLC. Hard to know sometimes. Could have dropped down a gear. Didn't. Steering sensitivity, you know I keep it low. There we go. So yeah, man, that's about all that's happening. Just wanted to do something so I could compare. I want to be able to play my first video and this one side by side and realize and sort of figure out, you know, what is improved and what still needs to be improved on. And I think there will always be things that need to be improved on. But in the meantime, let's at least get it to a point where I don't want to say that I can be proud of it, but that, you know, I know when I'm done with this, after I post it, I'm going to go back and take a look at video number 1, which I really haven't done, honestly, in forever. But I think it's going to be really weird, and I mean, it's not going to make me sad or anything. Things like that don't bother me. But I know the difference in quality. I hope it better be like night and day. So that's going to be kind of weird just to see. But you can't know what you don't know. And you can't say you've done something until you've done it. So I had never tried this before. And now I have. You know, something else that's really clear to me is I thought I was a pretty serious transportation sim gamer. I thought I was. I know I am. I knew I was. But it has been really kind of an eye-opener to do this and know. I mean, there aren't that many people watching, but there's a few. To see how much more carefully I drive when I'm recording. And I really like that. You know, always focused on obviously 0 damage, but 0 tickets, and even just 0 dumb things. You know, I don't want to make like goofball mistakes. And this truck, man, it's so low. The sound on the engine is so low. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. And I really don't know if we're in a ProMods area of the map or if we're in Vive la France. Hard to say. It's pretty though, and I'm liking Reshade Sweet FX. I think I'm used to it now, and I'm really liking that skybox. That seems different, kind of new. I don't remember seeing it like that before, but that could just be this part of the map or the weather that we're having today on this part of the map, because there are so many variables. Like, there's a lot of different kinds of weather, and there's different weather for different parts of the map, and then there's this, and then there's that. So there's a ton of variety, and I really like that about this, about European Truck Simulator, and I hope American Truck Simulator gets there as well. I feel like there's not the same amount of variety on American Truck Simulator, but I like that when you're in the sim, you sort of have no idea what you're going to see, and that's kind of what real life is like, and that to me makes it very immersive. that, right, like you're not seeing the same things over and over and just getting kind of not bored with it, but or it's not really special anymore because you just see it all the time. That's a nice little detail over there, a little train. And even, okay, so that train right there that just went by, way over kind of out of the corner of our eye, and I really like that they don't just, I mean, there's some places where you're much closer to moving trains, but that all the little details like that, they're not just like jammed up in your face like, look, we're putting detail. It's very subtle, and it's, if you weren't looking, you could have missed that. And I feel like that takes a certain kind of like a confidence by the developer. What the hell? So I need to go down and turn around so I can come back. Okay. It's not as bad as I thought. You know what I mean. A developer, a game developer, a code writer, when people make things, they want you to see them. And something like that little train, somebody put some time and effort into that. And to be the kind of company, the kind of developer that would sort of relegate it to that very subtle placement over out of the corner of your eye, I think that takes some confidence that you're not so, you know what I mean, so sort of taken with your own work that it has to be just, jammed in everybody's face, like, oh, hey, look, I made a train, or whatever. Am I making sense right now? I know what I'm trying to say, I just don't know if I'm saying it properly. Alright. Here we go. I think the engine we have in this truck right now is about 500 brake horsepower, which is, I mean, it's enough. Wouldn't necessarily call it a lightweight, but it's not a monster motor. I think the next one up from this is 640 horsepower, and that seemed, we were going very fast. There we go. That seemed excessive. Seemed like more than we needed. And keep in mind also we have that warp thing activated. It's not activated, it's just a setting, and we have it at 0.9 right now. So the scenery is going past 90% as fast as it was. I do notice a little bit of a difference. It seems a little more, maybe a little more stately. I'm trying to get the cruise control set, by the way, so we can settle down a little bit. Alright, turn that off. Set that right there. And I'm also hearing this truck is a lot quieter than the DAF or the 4 Series that we were in for the longest time. And it's nice to be able to hear the trucks going past, which is the Sound Fixes pack that we run. I think everybody runs the Sound Fixes pack. So, yeah, man, we'll hustle up the road here, and I think we'll get hooked up and then just call it, because we've got a long crossing, and we'll be able to sleep on that crossing, and then I believe we'll just drive straight up from there to, where are we headed? Reading, maybe? What's his name again? So we'll sleep on the boat and then drive up the UK. And this is, oh God. Right. Steering sensitivity. I'm gonna have to adjust that a little bit, maybe. So yeah, we'll get our job picked up, and then we will head up the UK. And it's completely different than what we had originally, or what I had originally planned. Originally I was thinking we were going to go to Cardiff, but there was no job going to Cardiff, so plan B. But that's fine. You know, it's all just driving a truck. Who cares? I will, depending on what kind of time we have left when we get into town, and this job may be gone by the time we get there, because it was, what, 7 hours? The job was good for 10 hours, and it was going to take us 7 hours to get there. So if the job is gone, at that point, whatever. Plan B, Plan C. But we've got 3% damage. We're on 3% damage. So what I might do is, depending on what kind of time we have, I might pull into the diesel shop and get the repair done before we hook up. Although we can get it done after we hook up. You can get a repair done while you have a trailer on, but sometimes it gets a little tight in there. And 3% damage is really not that big a deal. It's not, if we try to start the trip with that damage, it's not going to really affect anything. Right. Yeah, I've never known, I've never got a definitive answer whether or not wheelbase and lift axle actually affects turning circle. Because if you've been watching me play, and we are many episodes deep, you know I'm not perfect hooking up, and I'm not perfect backing up. But I believe in 27 episodes, that's the first time, other than maybe the first episode, I think that's the first time I've ever just straight up driven into something. And I got the wheel over as far as I could as soon as I saw that, and I just didn't get it there fast enough. So, yeah, man, we leave in the fail here. That's on me. I just drove into a pole, and I'm not going to re-record the entire video or delete this one and pretend it didn't happen. Like, oh yeah, I never drive into poles, because clearly I do. Although, fortunately, not terribly often. Right. This game has been so stable for me lately. I'm getting really spoiled. It's been, I have to say, it's been probably a month, maybe 5 weeks since I've had a game crash, and that's just next level. For me, anyway. I'm trying to think. I mean, I could be wrong, because obviously in the time that I've been playing this game, it's crashed so many times that they do sort of run together, but I'm kind of racking my brain here. Pretty sure we really have not had a game crash for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we'll be there in a minute. It's Friday night where I am, Friday evening. There's going to be some basketball playoffs coming on in a minute. There should be, yeah, still 2 games tonight. East Coast game and a West Coast game. Love it. And hockey playoffs are going on as well, so that's awesome. So yeah, just a nice, chill Friday night. I'll get this started uploading. And there you have it. I guess I see a difference in how fast the world is going by. What happens if you take that down to 0? Time stops. No. They wouldn't do that. Right, it took us 7 hours to get here. When you wake up, you don't have to sleep for what, like 13 hours? So this will, it took 7 hours to get here, 13, so 6. So we have 6 hours to get hooked up and get to the port, get on the boat. And then we'll sleep on the boat. When we get off the boat, we should be fully rested, because I think the crossing is, the amount of sleep that you get on a crossing takes you back to your maximum like rested state. So if you, like, just as an example, let's say you need to sleep every 14 hours. If it's been 7 hours and you need to sleep in 7 hours, if you ride a ferry for 5 hours, when you get off it, it will have given you back 5, so now you'll have 12 hours before you need to sleep. I think. Anything that I say, it's not that I don't know what I'm talking about, just take it with a grain of salt. I give you the best information that I've got, but I'm not always like super, smart or anything. So yeah, any bad information, that's on me, but it's certainly not intentional. Oh, I didn't see what kind of horn we got. Let me check this out. No horn. Oh. We got a very polite horn. It's nice. It's very nice. Alright. I'm wondering if we're... No, there's other things going on here. I was thinking the way it looks like we're going, like we're gonna hook up, we're gonna pick up our load like down at the port and just get directly on a ferry boat. But there's a little bit of a town down here, so it could be that we pick up one place and then drive to the boat. But we'll see. We just keep getting closer and closer. I don't know how much closer we can get before we're there. Alright, there it is. There's our destination. Also going to test my steering sensitivity going around this traffic circle. You sound my very polite horn. People be like all polite up in here. Nope. Steering is fine. I was just going too fast and reacted too slow. There's nothing wrong with my steering sensitivity. It's just me being a bad driver. Well, that's unfortunate. But you know what? I suppose it was inevitable. Or was it? I can't even see the light. Is there another one across the way? Just have to go by that one, right? There we go. What's that all about? Right. Here's our job. There's our trailer. Right. Well, we got here in time, so that's nice. Got here with 3 hours to spare. Yeah, let's take a look at some trailers. Decide what we want to haul. There's that one. I like the look of this one with the toolbox between the axles. My voice is starting to go, by the way. Like, really go. Wow, we need to wrap up in a minute here. This is NTM, so if we were anywhere, we'd be this way. All these trailers, I promise you, it's just one pack. There's so many trailers in this pack. This is still cast. I don't know if there's any more dollies out this way. Nope. Okay, well, that's disappointing because so there's two. So these are 3, but not between the toolbox. And that is, yeah, that is, oh, screw it. I'm going to go look. And this is NTM. That's a tall NTM. Ooh, that's different. Oh, those are way different. Why do I feel like I haven't seen any of those before? Curious, sir. And then these are the Craker. Okay. All right. Thanks for indulging me. No. Let's go back where we were. NTM. Oh, let's just take this one. Right. Take job. And there it is. We even going to be able to fit this thing in there? Certainly can. Right. So let's come up. We need to sleep in 5 hours. Perfect. I'm going to pull over here, end the episode, and then we'll pick it up again on our way out of town. Right. Gonna leave it right there. Folks, thank you so much for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.